So is going to happen just by law of averages, just by whatever, just by karmic justice finally going to happen. Minnesota Fighting Vikings will win the Super Bowl this season, 2020. Well, technically 2021. I don't know. If the season gets pushed back to the spring, whatever. Yeah, either way, the Vikings will be hoisting that Jeromebardi at some point at the end of this season. Just hopefully. But here we got the top 10 reasons why the Vikings will win the Super Bowl in 2020. So here we go. So starting off with number 10, Minnesota is due, right? So now, you know. Also, the fact that Minnesota has been so dry, just a barren wasteland of sports fandom ever since the Twins won 91. Yes, Lynx, respect. Yes, certain Gophers programs, respect. But in terms of cities with the four major sports, baseball, football, basketball, I guess hockey's the fourth one, sure. Was it Minnesota and Arizona have had the largest droughts, which, I didn't even know that Arizona still had a hockey team, by the way. Or I thought that they closed down their baseball team after Randy Johnson and Kurt Schilling left. I thought the Diamondbacks were gone, but whatever. Yeah, but Minnesota is due. They're past due. 90 days delinquent. Actually, more like 90 years delinquent, but whatever. Next up, reason number 9 why the Vikings are going to win the Super Bowl in 2020. Gary friggin' Kubiak. And now, in my limited research, aka just searching on Google, I'm pretty sure the Vikings are the only team in NFL history to have a Super Bowl winning head coach as one of their coordinators. And that's what Gary Kubiak is. He is that old, wise sage that has nothing to prove, just waving around his Super Bowl ring like... He's like knocking on the table like Frank Underwood at the end of House of Cards Season 2. Garrett Kubiak's going to come in, and he's going to change and transform Kirk Cousins. He already worked for them last year. He's already the de facto offense coordinator in 2019. He's going to do the damn thing in 2020 yet again. And also, that leads into, so number 8. Justin Jefferson is Offensive Rookie of the Year. Oh, but what about Diggs? What about Stephon Diggs? How are we going to replace Stephon Diggs? Well, how about Adam Thielen replaces Stephon Diggs, spends more time playing at the X receiver spot, and then Justin Jefferson turns into the nouveau, the next great slot receiver in this league, and just vacuums up by 120 catches this year. How about that? Why not? Just go boom. Yeah. Next up. Number 7 reason why the Vikings are going to win the Super Bowl. I'm laughing because... All right, so next up, Dalvin Cook rushes for 2,106 yards. Why so specific? So the NFL record for a single season is Eric Dickerson at 2,105. So Dalvin breaks the rookie rushing, not the rookie, the NFL single season rushing record. Sure, why not? I mean, in a world where Gary Kubiak cranks his offense up to 11, Dalvin Cook breaks the single season rushing record, as well as Justin Jefferson gets 120 receptions. I'm in for this simulation. And I don't even care if the simulation is on easy mode. If we're playing Madden here, I do not care in the slightest. Next up, number 6 reason why the Vikings are going to win the Super Bowl this year. Daniil will have 50.5 sacks. Now, give or take 30, somewhere in there, plus or minus 30. I feel like Daniil Hunter is going to break the sack record. He has always been up there in the last couple of years in terms of pressures generated. In fact, he led the league last year in terms of edge rushers who don't get to play against Riley Reef twice a season. Face. And yeah, with pressures, leads to sacks. There is an element of luck with sacks, and I actually think that Daniil will be able to get home quite a bit this year, especially if he's rushing more from the right side. The offense is left, so he generally won't have to deal with all the tight ends, generally gets the strong side of the offense, and be able to rush cleanly one-on-one spots against left tackles, where I'm betting on Daniil Hunter every single time. Yes, even including his David Bakhtiari. So screw your face. Daniil Hunter set the single season sack record, which is, by the way, is 22. Do not recognize the 20.5 by Michael Strahan because Brett Favre cheated. But yeah. Next up, number 5. We'll repeat it again. Minnesota is due. All right, number 4. Number 4. Cousins is league MVP. So in a world where Dalvin Cook breaks the single season rushing record, Justin Jefferson has 120 catches, as well as Adam Jerome, Ezekiel Thielen is doing the damn thing out there. Cousins still wins league MVP. I don't know how. Like, if Dalvin breaks the rushing record, I don't know how you don't give him the MVP, but it's a quarterback award, and it is what it is sometimes. I mean, Adrian barely beat out Peyton Manning in 2012 for the MVP award, which is just kind of dumb. But, yeah, Cousins wins league MVP. I think that means that the Vikings are going to win the freaking Super Bowl. Although it didn't work out for Lamar Jackson, the Ravens last year, but, Next up. Reason number 3 why the Vikings going to win the Super Bowl in 2020. Every 7th year, Zimmer wins the Super Bowl. Now, you've probably heard that old wives' tale where it's like, every other year, Mike Zimmer goes to the playoffs. Right? So, sample size, whatever. But I will say, throw this in there. Every 7th year, Mike Zimmer wins the Super Bowl. So, this is 14, 15, 19, 20. This is year 7 of the Mike Zimmer regime here with the Vikings. So, he's due. He is due. Also leading into number 5 and number 10. Zimmer's due, Minnesota's due, everybody's due. Next one up. Number 2 reason why the Vikings going to win a Super Bowl this year. For Bud Grant. Do it for Bud. Now, I fully understand and admit that Bud Grant is going to outlive all of us, but he is 93 years young. And it would be absolutely beautiful just to see that grown-ass, grizzled man just watching as the Vikings hoist that Jeromebardi. Just one time. Just one time, right? Where one of the most underrated coaches in NFL history, the greatest coach in franchise history, 0 for 4 in Super Bowls, not necessarily his fault, but just to see the franchise that he's dedicated his life to, that he's still a consultant for. He still has an office at TCO Performance Center Bar and Grill, for God's sake. Just to see that trophy raised one time, and maybe he even gets one single tear. Just like, grown men are allowed to have tears at funerals, and childbirths, and also watching your team win a Super Bowl for the first time. That's it. And also, not like full-on waterworks. So I'm talking about like a single stoic tear. All right, so do it for Bud Grant. It'd be great to see. Lastly, number 1 reason why the Vikings will win the Super Bowl in 2020. 2020 is stupid. Like, this is honestly the dumbest year that has ever been in recorded history, and we're only halfway through it. And I understand that Super Bowl will not take place during the 2020 calendar year, but we talk about the 2020 season. It's 2020 season. So this year is just so massively stupid that the only way it can possibly conclude is if the Vikings get hot, they go on a run, they set themselves up in the regular season, which takes place in 2020. And then they break out 2021 with a legendary playoff run. They shellac the Chiefs in the Super Bowl or Cam Newton and the Patriots. And it's just, that is the only possible way that this massively stupid, moronic, random, terrible year can conclude. And then bring on the meteor. Actually, no. The Super Bowl will be Vikings versus Bills. 0-4 versus 0-4. Someone's got to win. And then cue up the meteor because we're done here. We are done here on Earth. So that is all. And that's it. It's our top 10 reasons why the Vikings will win a Super Bowl in 2020. What reasons you have to add, let us know in the comments section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. You want to support the work, post something on the Venmo. But until next time, Skull, production value.